Good day, welcome. Take two with Jerry and Debbie underway here on, a Thursday already. Debbie, we are just, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I've got enough fingers, I can count. It looks like it's about 10 days until Christmas.
You got to be kidding me. 10 days? Oh, you're right. 10 days left till Christmas.
I guess I didn't need my fingers.
This is
the 15th and Christmas is on the 25th.
This is
Come
going
on, Jerry.
this is going so fast. Hasn't this year flown by, Jerry?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, we're all getting prepared for Christmas and then going right into 2017. Wow. Time flies when you're having a great time and filled with the Spirit and enjoy. So that's what Take Two does for me, Jerry. I love being with all of our listeners every time we tackle a topic together.
Yeah, and we're going to be tackling a topic today that is it's a source of pain. Okay, there's no other way to. I was trying to find words to kind of sneak around the back door, and not really say it that way, but. It's a fact of life for a lot of people, and Debbie went through a divorce and got an annulment and is now married to Marty. So she has tasted the pain and the heartache of divorce, and kids were involved in that. And I'm from a family of divorced parents. So we want to have a conversation today. Basically, we're asking the question, or we're just putting it out there, my spouse is leaving me. And we want to hear from you. You may not be up to calling about this right now, but if you can see your way to doing so, and you have the courage to do so, so many lives can be helped today. Because Debbie, as you know, there are factors that go into every separation, and ultimately, in many cases, unfortunately, divorce. And sometimes a spouse will see it coming. Other times it's like one husband or wife gets home from work. It's like, honey, sit down at dinner. Oh, by the way, and it kind of comes out of nowhere. So friends, if you're in a marital situation where there is strain and it looks like a separation or a divorce is imminent, or if you've recently been through one, we really, Debbie, you put it best. How do you put it? We want to have a conversation that really helps to all of us to rise up to a better place. And this is a tough topic.
It's a very tough topic and very painful, very emotional, and we understand that, and it hits very close to home. Obviously, as you shared, Jerry, with I went through it in 2006, 2007, and the thing that I would love to see for all of us is after this hour, we walk away with a better understanding of what others are going through, so that in addition to the painful experience they may be encountering with the separation or divorce, as you shared, Jerry, also as for the rest of us as Christians watching it or hearing about it in at work or wherever, we know that gossip trail ends up going very far and wide, that there's no judgments made on our part, and that we really understand that people's pain is should not be a topic for our conversation. Or like I like to say, Jerry, we really want to kind of squash or pop that cartoon bubble over our heads where we make those assessments that just naturally come out of our human nature, because it adds to the pain of what that person is going through. And we've heard this before, Jerry. We've had shows where callers have weighed in and they have said, the divorce was painful, but the way I felt going out in public when people were looking at me, or even people in the church pews, how they judged me or they felt that they were being judged, was sometimes even more painful. So that's what I would love for this show to come out after this hour, where we understand that people's emotional pain and what they're going through, we don't know the story. We don't know what happened. We don't know how hard they tried, but we can be of Christian charity and walk with that soul so that there's healing and there's a chance for things to turn out, in a good way. So that's what my prayer is for.
All right, well, we know we are looking for some brave people to call in today. We're just going to put it very bluntly right there. This isn't call in and share your favorite ice cream flavor day on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. This is a topic that is really a source of pain for many of us. I still have the scars from my parents' divorce. I've received so much healing, thanks be to God. and just lots of forgiveness and reconciliation. And folks, it's a beautiful thing when you go through those phases. It can be like a blood transfusion. It's like you get a new life. But sometimes when you're in the midst of it, you think that it's never ever going to go away and never have joy again or be able to smile again. So we are looking for brave souls to call today, quite frankly, but you can change the world with your take. 1-800-585-9396. 800-585-9396. And if it's a little more comfortable for you, you can text the letters EWTN to 55000 and wait for a short response, and just leave your name and your comment or question there, and we'll be happy to inject that into the conversation.
Jerry, forgive me because you're much older now, if I may say, but I keep forgetting. But I keep forgetting you were a child of divorce. And
I was 7. Yeah, I was 7
you were
years
7,
old.
and that's a real, that age of reason. That's a tough age, and a lot of emotions. Maybe you weren't even aware of what those emotions were because of the age you were at. So this affects so many of us, and we know that there are people in our families are going through a divorce situation right now. Maybe we don't know how to respond. Maybe we don't know how to help the children. Well, this could be a great conversation that, especially going into the holiday season, Christmas and New Year's, these are painful times for people that are separated and divorced. And as you can see, Jerry, the phone lines are completely lit up, which means we are striking a chord here where a lot of people are feeling this emotional pain. So when a phone line becomes open, please jump in at 1-800-585-9396. We've got to move this show along rather quickly. However, we're going to be very, very sensitive to each question and each comment because it's your story. And this is why we do the show. 1-800-585-9396. We're talking about, are you going through a divorce today? We titled the show, My Spouse is Leaving Me. But if you're going through a divorce or separation, or you're contemplating a divorce or separation, maybe this is the show to listen to or to call in.
Yeah, and it's so often when we hear this, the first thing that comes to mind is a husband leaving wife. That is kind of the stereotypical.
It's a scenario. Yeah.
Yeah, and let's face it. I mean, it works both ways. So there are maybe some men listening right now, and you've been on the receiving end of the bad news or the hurt or whatever. And we also want to acknowledge, Debbie, that it takes two for everything. Mm-hmm. So we're not saying that those of you who are going to be calling in, it's all the other person's fault and not yours, and you wouldn't say that either. So again, we're not. This isn't about let's figure out what went wrong. All right, let's figure out who are we going to put on trial here. Mm-hmm. None of that stuff. What we want to do is, if you just maybe let a little bit of that experience out, maybe some of the pain will come out with it. But most of all, Debbie, like we said, every day, everywhere, there are people who are going to be coming face to face with this possibility in their lives. And I think a conversation like this could help really turn a lot of people around.
It definitely could. And it's a great wake-up call for all of us just to be aware, because Satan is definitely trying to find any crack he can possibly find to get into our families and to get into our marriages. And it's important for us to guard ourselves through prayer and through the sincere intention and dedication to keep our families and our marriages intact. So this conversation is going to be a fruitful one. I can feel it because you guys are calling in. 1-800-585-9396. We're talking about divorce today on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. Stay with us.
The wisdom of Mother Angelica.
Nobody finds it easy to forget. I don't either, because you don't have spiritual amnesia because you're a Christian. You remember things. You don't want to. They just kind of sneak up on you like a computer that's got a little, what do they call it, computers get when they go out of whack? Yeah, virus. Yeah, even computers have virus. Though your sins be like scarlet, they may come white as snow, and though they be crimson reds, the worst kind of sins, they may become white as wool, so pure. Imagine the difference between what we are, and then you think of what God wants you to be, and then you repent, and then all of a sudden, you're just totally changed.
For more information on Mother Angelica, visit Religious Catalog at EWTNRC.com.
Post your intentions on the prayer wall on Jerry and Debbie's website. To get there, just click on the bright yellow J&D logo at take2show.com. Jerry and Debbie personally reply to every prayer intention that's posted. Others will also offer you their prayer support. When there's something important you want prayers for, post it on the prayer wall on Jerry and Debbie's site. Visit take2show.com, click on the J&D logo today.
Christmas shopping has never been easier. The EWTN catalog is now totally digital. Order online before December 16. Use the promo code NOEL and get a free CD copy of Christmas with the Nuns. Visit EWTNRC.com today.
Hi, everybody. This is Dr. Ray Guarini, host of The Doctor Is In. A blessed Advent to you leading up to Christmas time. The greatest story ever told. The God of the universe becomes a baby, one of us. Look forward to that one. Don't get caught up in all the Christmas stuff without paying attention to the greatest story ever told.
This is Debbie Georgiani from Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
This is John Martinoni of Open Line Monday.
This is Marcus Grodi, host of The Journey Home. Advent blessings from all of us at the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network.
We're glad you're with us. It's Take Two with Jerry and Debbie on EWTN Radio. Our topic today, my spouse is leaving me. If you are recently divorced, going through a divorce, maybe you and your spouse have been talking about it. Maybe you're thinking about it and your spouse doesn't know you are. We just want to have a conversation here again. We're not throwing stones, not judging, not trying to put somebody on trial as the bad guy or the bad gal here. We just want to talk about this, the dynamics, what happens. It's a fact of life, unfortunately, and it just brings about a lot of pain. So we want to try to, if we can, just help you come to a better place in your own situation, and certainly anyone who's listening who is still maybe a few steps away from that unfortunate point, maybe that can pull them up short. Debbie, if I may, I just wanted to, I went to Mass this morning, and the first reading is from Isaiah 54. I just wanted to read, I thought it was so, and this happens so often, Debbie, with Mass readings and things on days that we pick show topics. I'm just going to read a little bit of it here. It says, "Raise a glad cry, you barren one who did not bear. Break forth in jubilant song, you who were not in labor. For more numerous are the children of the deserted wife than the children of her who has a husband, says the Lord." I'm going to skip down a little bit. "Fear not, you shall not be put to shame. You need not blush, for you shall not be disgraced. The shame of your youth you shall forget. The reproach of your widowhood," speaks of widowhood here, not a divorce, but no longer remember. "For he who has become your husband is your maker." And it says, "The Lord calls you back like a wife forsaken and grieved in spirit. A wife married in youth and then cast off, says the Lord." So God he wants to espouse himself certainly to Israel in this case and to the church, but to each one of us. So I guess I'm giving my hand away at the end of the show, Debbie, but I would encourage anyone who has been forsaken by a spouse to turn to the Lord and let him be your mystical, spiritual spouse, at least through the very difficult time here. He can help get you through that. So well said. Anyway.
I love how we're constantly somewhat stunned that the Holy Spirit is working in this Take Two family, Jerry, because I don't believe there's any coincidence that so many times the daily readings coincide with our topic, and we didn't pick it, and we didn't try to correlate it with the readings, and it just happens. That's God. That is totally God. I love it. Okay, Kathy, you are first up, and you were very quickly to get in Houston, Texas, listening to EWTN Radio on EWTN.com. Hi, Kathy. Welcome to Take Two.
Hello.
Hi, Kathy.
Hi.
I don't know where to start. I was married for 25 years when my husband left. No explanation, no warning. And I haven't seen or spoken to him since then. And I pretty much had to file for divorce and do the whole thing with no contact from him whatsoever. And I wanted to say that it's truly a death. Yes, you are embarrassed, you are humiliated, and you feel like there's been a death. And I searched and searched and searched for help online, just where to start, and I couldn't find anything. I did wind up going back to the church. I'd been away from the church, and I did go back, and it's, it's helped, but I'm still got a long way to go.
Kathy, couple questions. Is this a Catholic church that you went back to? The church you went? You meant Catholic church, right?
Catholic church.
Okay. Does your parish or any of the neighboring parishes, do they have any divorce and divorce groups or any groups for healing and any of those in your diocese?
Not my parish. If I want to go, because I don't actually live in Houston. I live outside of Houston, and if I want to go into Houston, there's help there. But you're talking about an hour's drive, and I've got a full-time job, and it's not safe for me to be out on the roads at 10 o'clock at night.
Right. Well, Kathy, first off, what I would do also, too, is Rose Sweet does a fabulous ministry on divorce and healing and post-divorce, and she's just an amazing, gifted speaker and a beautiful soul to journey with. And Rose Sweet, she has a website. Is it rosesweet.com, Jerry? I just want to make sure.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, rosesweet.com. I would recommend trying to reach out to her if you can. And also, foryourmarriage.org has resources as well that you can tap into, because here's the thing. The church does have ministries and different programs for all of us to heal and to not feel so isolated and alone. And given that you're an hour away from Houston, and like you said, the drive-in, that's a lot for you to do. The church reaches us in so many ways through other people's ministries and through the internet. And so I would encourage you not to have those feelings. And I'm just saying this from personal experience, because you can feel very alone in this. As you know, I was married for 20 years when my marriage ended. And it's interesting, Kathy, I'm sure you can relate to this. I bet you probably thought when you were at 15 or 20 years, wow, I'm home free. We're going to be married forever. Because that's how I felt. And
at 25, the 25th anniversary, I certainly did.
Wow, yeah, and it's a shocker, and it sets you back. But I can tell you this, I'm living proof that the church is here to help us and to support us and to give us even an additional leg of the journey, if you will, where you can find your purpose for the rest of your life here on earth. I have found it, Kathy. But if you had talked to me in 2006, I would have said, okay, my life's pretty much over at this point. But I feel very differently now. So I pray to God, Kathy, and I will pray and hold you up in prayer. I pray that you feel that way someday soon, because it's worked with me. And I want you to just kind of hold on to that, because if you know that other people have journeyed just like you have journeyed and have come out of it with even a better purpose, it'll give you that sense of hope to hold on. And it sounds like this is still fresh. Is this a recent divorce, Kathy?
It was final in July, this past July.
Okay, yeah. See,
it's still very raw.
Yeah, Kathy, it's going to take time. It took me several years before I felt even comfortable in my own skin.
You mentioned the help on the internet. Part of the problem is I lost half the income for the household, so I had to cut out internet access, cable. I had to cut out all those extras just to make ends meet.
Wow. Yeah. So,
I've got internet access at work, but I can't steal time from my job to do this.
Right.
So it's really difficult to find the help that you need.
Kathy,
I have been to rosesweet.com, and I didn't really see anything that even looked like something I needed.
Okay, well, I know she's got some resources, and she has plans to put out some new ones, but really, I think Debbie had the best suggestion, Kathy. Start right there at home with your parish. go set up a meeting with your pastor if you have to, and tell him, look,
I did.
I'm going through this.
Well, with the
you
deacon. The deacon, because I'm seeking an annulment, and he said they don't have anything that he could refer me to the archdiocese, which is in Houston.
Well, give them a call. If you can't make the drive over there, give them a call. Be persistent, Kathy. You are a daughter of the church, and you have a right to be pastorally cared for, especially at a time like this. I'm not criticizing anyone that you have talked to or anything, but my goodness, this is what the church is about, Debbie. If the church can't help us in these situations, then I don't really know what to say. And I do believe that the church can help, Kathy. I know you have some obstacles there with distance and so forth, Kathy, but just keep reaching out, and God will, if you knock on those doors, God will open one of them. We can be sure of that.
I agree. Kathy, you have use of a phone. Use your phone. I agree with Jerry. And even if I may say, I think even on Rose Sweet's website, there it might even be contact information. Use the phone and see if you can, so you can have access, so you don't feel so isolated. Would you at least try that for us, Kathy, and keep us posted? Would you do that?
It's not that I feel isolated. I have family, but they don't.
Okay.
They can't understand.
Right.
And I don't know anybody at my church. I'm making friends. I'm going to, when I called to ask about the annulment, I was put in touch with the deacon. He invited me to attend his RCIA class just to get to know other people, and I've been doing that. And during Advent, I've been going to, they have Mass every night. I've been doing that.
Perfect.
It's just a very slow journey.
Right, perfect. Well, you have family, that's perfect. You're doing all the right things. The annulment process is a very healing process, and we're going to pray that is for you. So Kathy, just give us an update in the next 6 months or a year and how it's going, and please keep in touch with us. We'll be praying for you, Kathy, and please pray for us. Okay, know that the prayers are around you. Thank you, Kathy.
Yeah, absolutely, Kathy. Thanks for having the courage to call today. We appreciate that. And all the others of you on the line, we are going to get to you. Maybe it takes an extra minute or two today than otherwise we might spend with calls. So please do be patient if you are on the line, because we want to talk with each and every one of you. We've got a break in a couple minutes. We can get started with David in Virginia listening to EWTN Radio on Guadalupe Radio. David, we may have to pause for that break, but we'll continue on the other side, but we can get started right now. So David, thanks for calling Take Two.
Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
So I'm a cradle Catholic who fell away from the church for many years, and when I was in my more spiritual than religious phase, I met a Christian woman that was about 6 years ago, and we got married 4 years ago. We got married outside of the church, as I wasn't practicing at the time. A couple years later, around the time that we conceived our daughter, and another number of circumstances, I felt really called back to the church. So I came back into the church, got on fire for the faith in a way I hadn't before, and in part, that's part of the reason why our relationship unraveled. It became clear to me that, in the eyes of the church, we weren't married, and we had to rectify that. And in my attempts to do that, that's the beginning of how everything unraveled. And I know that in the last year, especially, I was really fighting to make our relationship work and to bring it to the sacrament of holy matrimony. And just recently, 3 months ago, it became clear that was not the way it was going to go. She asked me to leave. I left, and she said she just wanted some time to breathe, but she did file against me almost immediately, and so we are currently separated and headed for divorce. And we have a daughter who's 20 months old, and
well, hold that thought right there just for a second, David. I mentioned we had that break coming up. This is for our affiliates. They plan on this break at this time every day, so we can't tinker with it at all. But you've laid out a scenario that I know that Debbie and I can both perhaps offer some insights on, and it sounds like you've got a little bit more to share as well. So it's Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. My spouse is leaving me. Get a hold of us and share your take on the program.
Colleen Kelly Mast.
I cannot even count the number of times that God has clearly shown me His power and love when I continue to say yes to Him. He provides for our needs. Even standing at the funeral home during the wake of my late son, the Holy Spirit kept singing in my head, "The joy of the Lord is my strength." I didn't feel very strong at the time, but I knew that God was holding me close.
Mast Appeal with Colleen Kelly Mast. Saturday, 9 a.m. Eastern on EWTN Radio.
Living the Beatitudes with Father Bjorn.
Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. If you're on a football team, you don't want to just run up and down the field holding the ball and never cross into the end zone and get a touchdown. If you're on vacation, you don't want to drive all the way to Orlando and then never enter into the Magic Kingdom. We want to reach our goal, but there are a lot of obstacles, discouragement, and challenges along the way. Jesus' voice is the one calling us to say yes to Him, to live the life that He is calling us to live. We have to choose one way or the other, choose Him or not. But if we choose Him, we will be opposed. We're going to have people challenge what we believe or call us crazy. But Jesus doesn't just say, "Come follow me," to follow a beatitude. He's calling us to be like Himself. He is the Beatitudes. He doesn't just say, "Do what I say." He says, "Come follow me." He's with us every step of the way, transforming our weakness into strength. Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven.
EWTN. Live truth. Live Catholic.
CNA is the only fast, reliable, and free Catholic news source that brings blogs, stories, opinions, and more to your fingertips. For the latest Catholic news, visit CatholicNewsAgency.com, an online service from EWTN News.
This is Peggy Normandin, host of Call Me Catholic.
Hi, this is Tim Staples from Catholic Answers Live.
This is Michael Warsaw, Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of EWTN, wishing you a blessed Advent from all of us at the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network.
We are very blessed that you've joined us today on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. There's a lot of text messages coming in, social media. Everybody's their hearts are kind of a little bit heavy at the stories that are coming in, because these are deep stories and they're your stories. That was the break we couldn't move. David, please forgive us. We would never have jumped in on your story, but we couldn't move that break. So, David, it sounds like your wife filed for divorce. You're now in that phase. Is there a chance at all, David, for reconciliation? Are you speaking with her, or where are you at right now today?
No, I honestly think we're past any chance of reconciliation. I think she's in a bad place right now where she wants to hurt me. But I changed when I came back to the church, and
Sure.
She made it clear that that's not a change that she wanted, and I feel like the church made it clear to me that,
right,
I wasn't married in the eyes of the church, or don't have the grace of the sacrament. So I feel like I did my best. I made every effort to try and reconcile this, and I mean, ultimately, she didn't want to. And I'm
so, David, you were not married in the Catholic Church. Is that what
No.
you're saying? Okay.
And when I came back to the church, I wanted to do that, and
she didn't.
We couldn't.
Right.
Yeah, and this is not a unique case, unfortunately. But David, I'm not a canon lawyer. Debbie is not either. But it sounds to me like, and I know that this is not something that's going to immediately wash away any pain or discomfort that you have right now. But perhaps there could be a seed of hope in your mind and your heart that the church would take a look at your marital situation and say, well, this was not valid. It was not sacramental. Again, that would be up to competent authorities to determine. But there would be, if that is judged to be the case, there would obviously be the opportunity for you to enter into a valid sacramental marriage. And it sounds like you would do so if that's what you wanted and where the Lord led you. It sounds like it's something you would do with someone with whom you were equally yoked in the faith going forward.
Mm-hmm.
No, I definitely feel like I'm called to be a husband and a father. I just wanted to say also that through this, God has shown me how rich I am in friends and family that are really good support. And also because of my situation, 3 people that are really close to me have opened up to me that their marriages are on the brink, and
Right.
I just really feel like it's on my heart that we have to pray for marriages, and not just the ones that are failing or struggling, but even ones that are going well. Because I know people that are doing well, but we know the evil one wants to destroy marriages, and I feel like we should pray for all marriages, the ones that are struggling and the ones that are doing well, that they stay strong.
Right. Right. David, okay, so this is from my heart to yours, because I can hear the sadness in your voice, quite frankly. And you said you have a 20-month-old. Is it a boy or a girl?
It's a little girl, precious little girl.
Yeah.
Our relationship is good. She's such a happy, blessed child. I feel like Our Lady is with her in a special way. And I just want to make sure, that I have joint custody and am part of her life. And, that's where I'm focused now. And I am praying for my spouse, just that, she come to forgiveness. And, because there's things she needs to forgive me for, and I forgive her for what she's done. And,
Right.
I mean, I just hope that she really comes to a place of true peace.
Right. Well, David, you're doing the right things. You're staying close to the church. And that's exactly what I was going to say to you, is if you haven't done it, but you said it out of your own mouth, that you are praying to Our Lady. Please continue, and we will do that with you, David. We will pray to Our Lady that she puts her mantle of protection over your 20-month-old precious daughter, and also over your wife, too, because her spiritual journey is still unfolding. And we're going to pray really, really hard that the Holy Family is watching over your family, because it's so incredibly important that we do that. We don't fall short of the prayers. We have to ramp up the prayers during these times. And David, I will commit to you, and I'm hoping that the whole Take Two family will as well, constant prayers surrounding you. And that's what is needed to get through this, David. And whatever's going to unfold, then we know that it's God's design or God's will, or God allowed it, because we're praying, we're doing our part. So I just wanted you to know that from me to you, I will commit to dedicated prayer to you and your family.
Thank you very much. God bless you.
Yeah, David, you can count on that from both of us, and we know our listeners. We hear from them a lot via email and other means, and they are obviously going to pray for you as well. So, David, be strong. This is the time for you to be a true, man's man. Fight, get on your knees and fight like a man, as the saying goes, and God will be with you, David, and we are too. So, thanks for having the courage to call today, and let us know 6 months, 12 months, a couple years down the road how things are going. We'd love to hear from you again, David, anytime. On Take Two with Jerry and Debbie, my spouse is leaving me. That is our topic today. It's a heavier topic. Sometimes we have lighter things that we talk about today, but this show is about the stuff of life, folks, and we got to talk about real life, and we need to help one another in the situations that confront us in daily life, and sometimes you could see it coming. Other times we've had callers who said they were blindsided by a spouse who said, hey, I'm out of here. And so if you'd like to share your take, really to maybe get a little bit of healing going in your own life, or to help somebody else who's listening right now maybe fend that off, it's 1-800-585-9396. We have an open phone line there at 800-585-9396.
Something you said, Jerry, just made me think back to Kathy's phone call that she called in about how important it is that she has family around her, and so that keeps her from feeling isolated. That's so important. I'm glad Kathy mentioned it. And then David mentioned it as well, Jerry, about family and friends, and now friends are disclosing to him that they're having troubles in their marriages. See, Jerry, this is why it's important that we reserve judgment. We hold judgment, and we allow each other, we lock arms with one another and support and sustain one another, so that we can journey together, and maybe it helps other souls. I just wanted to reiterate that, because both calls mentioned about family and friends. It's important for them to be around them. Okay, Jeff, you have been waiting so patiently. You're listening to EWTN Radio in St. Clairsville, Ohio, on Light of Life Radio. Hi, Jeff. Welcome to Take Two.
Hi, how are you?
Doing well. How are you?
Doing all right, Jeff. Thanks.
I'll keep this brief. I guess I just want to let everyone know that you need to stick to the high road. Don't succumb to the desire to say bad things about your spouse. I was married for 23 years. I've been divorced for 8. and just continue to say good things, especially if you have children involved. You don't want to try to turn them against the other person. Don't blame them, because there's a lot of things you can't control. You can't really control what they say, but that's all right. You just need to stick to the high road.
Jeff, it's a great point, and Debbie can certainly speak to that, and I'll let her here in a moment. But you made the point, especially for the kids, okay? If it's daddy who leaves and daddy's the jerk, he's still daddy, okay, to the kids. He's not a jerk to the kids. He's daddy, and the dad who can walk on water and wears the big S on his chest, Superman, and can leap over tall buildings. So that's who daddy is to the young kids especially. And so, and if it's the woman who precipitates a divorce or causes it to have to come about, she's still mommy. And so, yeah, you're right, Jeff. Spouses should definitely not, especially not in any context, among friends or at the gym or whatever, but especially in front of the kids, because Debbie, as you know, and what Jeff was alluding to, this leads to what a lot of people call parental alienation.
It does, yeah, parental. And I have been a victim of that for many, many years. And Jeff, I couldn't agree with you more. Taking the high road, I think we heard it said in the political campaign, or when they go low, we go high, or whatever that was. And it's true to take the high road. But again, just to reiterate, that is a beautiful solution to a very hard, terrible situation. However, it's two individual people with two unique free wills, and it doesn't always work out that way, and it's very destructive to the family, horribly destructive to the children. And I agree with you, Jeff, but here's what I learned. One of the reasons why those things happen is because there's unresolved feelings that are left when the marriage ends, and that is all the more reason why we as Catholic Christians, when we enter into a marriage, we've got to turn over every leaf. How do they say it, Jerry? Everything's got to be turned over before.
Yeah, every stone. Yeah.
Every stone has to be turned over before you make the final decision to end to divorce, because the church is trying desperately to have all these feelings flushed out, to make sure that everything is worked out and possible. There can be a possible reconciliation. That's why the Bishop's Initiative, foryourmarriage.org, Retrovi, Marriage Encounter, all of these programs are phenomenal to help, so that, Jeff, exactly what you just said, if and when the marriage has to come to an end, there can be where both can maintain that high road and not just really get ugly with the name calling. So we agree, Jeff, completely. And thank you for calling in and sharing your story. Anything else?
Yeah, thank you so much. And let people know that there is certainly hope. As painful as everything is, I got remarried 4 years ago to a wonderful woman, and there's certainly hope. You know, your life is not at an end, even though it seems to be at the time. And I still have a wonderful relationship with my children. So, you know.
Wow. You're blessed.
Keep working.
Yeah.
And we thank God with you for that, Jeff, because that right there is really a great grace. So thanks be to God for that. And thanks for calling in and sharing this with us today, Jeff. I know you have certainly helped to maybe even turn around some minds and hearts regarding the situation. So thank you very much. 800-585-9396. If you aren't able to listen every day to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie on your local Catholic radio station, all you got to do is, you got a smartphone. I mean, most people have smartphones. Download the EWTN app. You can carry that everywhere you go with you. I have it on my phone, so when I am out driving through a rural area, from an airport to a Catholic station for a pledge drive, and I'm not within range of the Catholic station yet, guess what? I can just pop the app on and listen to it through a wireless thing in the car, and it just works out great.
Oh, that's
so you
cool.
can get EWTN news, program schedules, there are prayers and devotions, and get this. You get for free the full RSV, Revised Standard Version Catholic Edition Bible, and the Gospel of Mark audio from the Truth and Life New Testament audio Bible. So go to EWTN EWTN.com and download the app.
Jerry, we're getting text messages coming in. Laura just weighed in from Nebraska and said, just let all the callers know we are praying for them. So so Take Two family is coming in strong with the prayers, Jerry.
Yeah.
So that's
No
a good sign.
surprise.
Yep. We have a great family.
Back to the calls. John in Louisville, Kentucky, listening to EWTN Radio on Sirius XM 130. Hi, John. Thanks for waiting. You get to go next.
Okay. Hi. How are you?
Doing all right, John. Hope your day is going well.
It is going well. You really set up the program well, I thought, the topic for today's program. And so many of those feelings are true. The stigma, the guilt, the shame. I do think, though, that the stigma is sometimes more a product of guilt. In other words, I think you think that people are saying and thinking things about you that maybe not necessarily is going on. It's kind of an imaginary thing because you're feeling guilty and you're feeling out of place. And, I know in my experience, like you, Jerry, my parents were divorced. It definitely left scars on myself and on my siblings. I think that because of that divorce, I desperately wanted to get married and kind of, show my parents how to do it right. But because of that, it's like almost everybody I dated, I wanted to get married to, and the result of that was I got married when I shouldn't have, too young and for the wrong reasons. Happily, I think my ex-wife would definitely agree with me. It was my fault that I got married for the wrong reasons. Mm-hmm. We had been married 16 years. After we divorced, I experienced what you did, Debbie, and my wife spent a lot of time filling my kids' heads with all kinds of things about their dad, and I was estranged from them for some long period of time. But here's the hopeful part. I went back to church. I think when my parents got divorced, I was 13, and I went to the church, and sunk myself into my faith. At that time, I was displaced. We moved with my mother out of state, and we drifted away from the church. And I guess one of the things that occurred from my divorce is I desperately wanted to be back in the church. So I filed for an annulment. It was granted. I met a woman who was also divorced with 3 kids. She got an annulment. We got married. Oddly, my youngest daughter and her eldest son met each other, struck up a relationship. They had never known each other until they were adults, and they ended up getting married in the Catholic Church. So we're blessed with that. We're both very involved in our church. I think if you just delve into your faith and trust your parish community, which is your parish family, you'll find a lot of support rather than what you think you're finding, which is judgment and consternation. I think you'll find a lot of support. Mm-hmm. We're all just sinners, and we're all seeking the Lord, and we're all seeking to be the best version of ourselves. And I would encourage everybody to just do that. You'll feel better. Go to confession once you're divorced. Get your annulment. Be a member of the church. Be active. And I think God has a way of working things out for you. That's my comment.
Mm-hmm. Wow, John, that your story has a very interesting ending. So that was I wasn't expecting that. My eyes kind of got very big, but you're right about you're right about delving into the church and really jumping into the deep end of the pool, if you will, into the church, because the church has it right. This isn't a lot of times when we do shows like this, people think, oh, you're pushing annulments. Absolutely not. Of course, the marriage, we have to fight very hard for our marriages. Absolutely. Hold on to our marriages, protect our marriages through prayer and through just hard work to keep our marriages from being attacked. Absolutely. But the church does have it right. And it allows us and allows the souls to become the best versions and to live out their purpose. Just like you said, John, I agreed with what you were saying. And the reason why I think we did the show is to give people hope, because a lot of people, it's not in their control. It was not in my control to save the marriage. I couldn't do it. I tried everything in my power. I had priests coming over. It was like a revolving door in my house of priests coming over to try and help us. It was out of my control, but the church was constant and there for me, and the healing was amazing. And the end of the story for me as well, it's still unfolding, but there's hope, just like there was with your story, John. And it was interesting. Jerry, were you a little bit shocked at John's ending of his story? That was interesting. Full circle with the family.
Yeah, it shows. Yeah, good can come out of any situation, and really, we have to always. It's kind of cliche. It can sound cliche sometimes, but we just need to look upon and meditate upon the cross. Mm-hmm. And when we see Jesus there, what worse thing could have ever happened in the history of the world than the Son of God being put to death on a cross?
That's right.
And from that horrific. The worst thing that could ever possibly happen, the best thing that could possibly ever happen and that is our salvation. I know it's difficult to relate to that sometimes, but if we I just say the school of the cross doesn't need words. You can just sit and look upon the cross. Do it for 5 minutes a day. Do it for 10 minutes a day. Your life will change. All right, we want to get to a few more of these folks here. Great calls today. Thank you so much. Linda, you are next, listening to EWTN Radio on Ave Maria Radio in South Lyon, Michigan. Hi, Linda. Welcome to the program.
Thanks, Jerry. Thanks, Debbie. I'm glad to be on. I called in because my situation was one that I don't usually hear talked about. I filed for divorce on my husband because he had been cheating on me with other men for many years. And the final act of disrespect happened, and I decided that I couldn't stand it anymore. Now, what happened was, well, I won't go into what happened. It's not necessary. That's all I had to say. I just wanted to mention that in case somebody else is out there who had homosexual problem in a spouse.
Right. Well, Linda, actually, there have been other shows that have actually discussed this, and unfortunately, this is something that people are encountering. So I wanted to ask you, though, it sounds like you did. Did you talk to a priest or a deacon or somebody of leadership in the church, just so that you had that what Jerry calls pastoral care? Did you have that for you? I'm concerned for you.
Yes, we did.
Okay. So
yes, we did. And we went. One of the reasons why I wanted to go through the annulment process was to see if I was wrong in divorcing him, to see if I needed to step back. And Chancery Office of our diocese said, no, it looks like a real marriage was never contracted.
Right.
A valid marriage in the church was never contracted.
Right. So that relieves you, that frees you. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to make that exact point, Linda, that if your husband entered into the marriage with what the church would call deep-seated same-sex attraction and certainly acting out. I mean, I know there are a lot of men who have entered into marriages with some degree of same-sex attraction, maybe very minimal, maybe it never influenced their marriage whatsoever. And then there's the other extreme as well, where they just simply, it's a compulsion that they can't get a handle on, and so they compartmentalize this in their minds, and they say, well, I'm not cheating on my wife with other women, so... But anyway, I'm sure the church, I can't say this for certain, again, I'm not your diocesan tribunal, but it would seem to be a pretty open and shut case, Debbie, for an annulment in this situation.
Yes, absolutely. That's what I would think anyway, just hearing what you're saying, Linda. But I had a part two to my comment. I said, I'm concerned for you because you're calling, so we're talking. So I'm concerned for you. But I'm concerned for your ex-husband. I guess your guys are divorced, your ex-husband, your former husband. Let's all pray for him that he does find the best version of himself, and that God helps him in his journey, because we're all souls on a journey, and it's important that we do that. And I say we do that because together we can make a difference in the power of prayer. So, Linda, I just wanted to follow that up. I didn't want to think I was all just one-sided, just worried about one soul. I'm worried about all the souls. So, but Linda, it sounds like you have great support around you, and you have care with the church, and that's great, because that's what you need to lean on, is the church. Jerry?
No, anything else, Linda, from you before we let you go on with your day?
No, nothing at all. I appreciate you taking the call.
Well,
Thank
we
you,
appreciate
Linda.
you calling, and as Debbie said, lots of prayers for you and for your former husband as well. Over to Dennis in Indiana, listening to EWTN Radio on Redeemer Radio. We've got about, looks like 90 seconds, Dennis. We'll help you in any way that we can. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. My big question was, and he kind of answered it when we talked earlier, I've been divorced now for 4 years, and someone like Debbie, it's like you want to stop this thing, and you do everything in your power to try, and it's like it gets worse. I don't know. It's really, really hard to explain. Right. But like everybody else said, with the power of prayer, our churches, there's stuff out there that helps so much. I mean, I wouldn't be in the place I am, and at the same time, through the divorce, there's no doubt I got closer to God. So I don't know that it's not a good thing. It's not what I want, and I still don't want. Will I seek an annulment? That was my question. No, I don't feel like I need an annulment. I will live out the rest of my Catholic faith however I have to. Hopefully it's still in reconciliation. I pray for it every day. I really got to say it.
Dennis, so real quickly, because we're getting ready to close the show, so please forgive me for how quickly this is. Please go to rosesweet.com, go to foryourmarriage.org. Please maybe make an appointment to talk to a priest or deacon, just to work through some of your feelings that you're having, just to affirm your feelings, or maybe challenge them a little bit. So whatever works for you, but lean on the church and lean on prayer as hard as you can, because it is powerful. Jerry?
Absolutely. Dennis, you've got a lot of support around you right now, and receive the sacraments. The church is there for you and will never, ever abandon you. You are still fully a member of the church and can tap into all that the pastoral care that the church has to offer. Steve and the others wish we would have had time for you on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie, but an amazing show, Debbie, and we're going to be back to do it again tomorrow. Until then,
have a beautiful and blessed day. We'll see you real soon.